to this episode of Wicked Kitchen. Last night was a very chaotic episode for a different reason than today's episode. So today's episode is going to be chaotic because I don't have a recipe planned. So we're going to do kind of a chopped thing. I just took a look in my fridge and I pulled some ingredients, and we're going to kind of go from there. So the idea is I have some bacon, some pre-cooked chicken, some pasta, and some heavy whipping cream. So we're gonna kind of do an Alfredo. This is rigatoni, so this is gonna be a rigatoni Alfredo with some bacon and chicken in it. So I'll send you guys over to the prep station so we can get started. Give me 1 second. I'm going to send you guys to the different... And we're going to start that with some bacon, because why not? Just going to grab my knife here. As I mentioned last night, this is the new knife. This is the Binging with Babish knife from the Babish collection. See, it has a little nameplate there. Let's see if I can... There we go. Yeah, the little bald man with glasses. So we're going to start with some bacon and chop that up into some small little strips. Just gonna do it that way, be easier. I'm gonna take like 3 strips of bacon and start chopping it up. Actually, I'm gonna save my cutting board and grab one of my little flexible cutting boards that I have over here, so that we don't dirty it. This cutting board, we dirty this one instead, which is just easier to clean. This I can throw in the dishwasher and it's no problem because it's nice and flexible. Yeah, I'm not going off a recipe tonight. We're just gonna kind of do it and see what happens. Yeah. 2, 3. Bacon really doesn't want to come up tonight. There we go. Okay, so first piece, our second piece, and our third piece. There we go. Okay. I'm going to cut this into some strips so that we could render out some of the fat and use that for our sauce, our Alfredo sauce. There we go. Just into some strips. I'm going to fold this in half just so it's easier to cut through. There we go. We're also going to save these and kind of use them, and well, we're going to use them as our final sauce and kind of as a garnish because these are going to get really nice and crispy. And I think that'll be a fun little textural difference between the pasta and the sauce versus this nice crispy bacon. So toss that, and I have a pan over there with some oil going into it. Oh, where did I put my? Oh, there it is, underneath the camera. Cool. So just a little bit of vegetable oil. The bacon doesn't really need it. And I'm turning my pan on to medium. I'm gonna grab my bench scraper from my dishwasher, and then I'll see you over there on the other side of my kitchen. Okay, hi, you're on this side now. So we're just gonna throw this bacon in, and I'll when I go to wash my hands, I'll move you guys over. So let me do one of those two things now. There you go. That's good for now, and then I'll wash my bacony hands. I'll also move you guys closer so you get real close to the action. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So we have our bacon going, and we're going to let that kind of render out and give up its fat and get it nice and crisp. And then I'll throw in the chicken. Since it's already pre-cooked, we're just going to kind of warm it through in the bacon fat, and then we'll start... Actually, we're going to build our sauce with the bacon fat, then add the chicken and the bacon back in at the end. Since it's pre-cooked, it only really needs to warm up, so that's what we're going to go ahead and go with. Turn that up a little bit. Yeah, so this episode is a mystery recipe because I didn't have anything planned for this like I did last weekend. Last weekend, if you'll remember, we did the biscuits and gravy. Saturday we did the French toast with the orange sauce, and then we did the biscuits and gravy. And I had Saturday planned this week, but I did not plan for Sunday. So I figured this will be a fun little challenge for myself. Oh, that bacon already smells good because, well, it's bacon. So we're going to get that going. And once this is good and rendered and really crispy, I'm just going to put it and let it drain on a plate with some paper towels. Cool, so that's now frying up. And I want to get this really, really crispy because not only is it going to release all of its fat that we want in this sauce, we're also going to use that as kind of our crispy, crunchy topping later in the sauce. I was watching a video this morning from Binging with Babish. Great chef, has a ton of recipes that I've used on this show before. And he was talking about mise en place and how you should have your mise en place. And I kind of sort of have that tonight. I have all the ingredients I'm going to use out. I don't have them measured at all, but there's no recipe to measure it from. So, my mise en place is mise en place. You can kind of see we're already getting a lot of bacon fat out of here, out of this bacon. and we're going to keep rendering that. I'm going to throw some salt in the water. If you're doing a lot of pasta, you could put some oil in the water. It doesn't help with the flavor at all, but it does help the bubbles to not form as much. So when you get that boil over of all the starch in the water, that won't happen as much with the vegetable oil. Okay, so we have our water boiling back there, so I'm going to add our pasta. I had some frozen gnocchi in the fridge, but I decided to go with the rigatoni just because I think it'll look nicer when we go to plate. There we go. I think that's a good amount. My roommate is also coming home at some point, so I did not tell him I was streaming, so it'll be a fun little surprise for him to walk in as we're midstream. Just gave that a little stir. Bacon is rendering. Going to move our green mat that we used to chop the bacon into the sink. And then we'll start to prep kind of everything else. So I'll send you guys back over to our prep station. So we're back in the prep station. We have this wonderful chicken pre-cooked because I thought it would be a fun way, an easy way to just like have some chicken on hand that I didn't need to really cook. We only have a little bit left in the bag, so that's why I'm pairing it with the bacon. There we go. We're getting there with the bacon. Some bits are getting crisp, but we still need to go a little bit longer for the rest of it. So I'm also going to grab a bowl to put those ingredients in as we cut them up. There we go. Okay, so we have our chicken. I'm just going to do kind of match that size piece with these bigger strips, just so there's some uniformity, so they'll cook evenly. But I really don't want like a really nice warmed through piece of chicken and then all of a sudden cold chicken. I feel like that would be not great in this. Go, take that. This is completely unseasoned, so we're gonna have to add our own. I'm gonna put some seasoning in the oil, the bacon fat, so that it can kind of bloom and get real nice. Yeah, I think that's all the prep we have to do over here, actually. Welcome back to StoveCam. As you can see, our bacon's getting real nice and crispy. It's released a lot of fat. So we have all that's going to go into our sauce and really make it into bacony and beautiful and add a lot of flavor. So Alfredo sauce always kind of lacks that. It's always just fatty, and that's pretty much it. So I think the saltiness from the bacon and the smokiness is going to play really well because it's actually hickory smoked bacon. So it's going to add a little oomph. So I'm going to take some paper towels and line this plate. If you were doing this for a crowd and you wanted to save every last bit of bacon drippings, I would totally suggest putting a bowl and then a sieve and then just putting the bacon into the sieve, and that'll be a lot easier. And you'll also catch a lot more of the bacon drippings. I'm not so worried about this because I'm the only person who's going to be enjoying this tonight. So I'm actually probably not going to use all of this. So I'm not worried if like we collect a lot into our paper towel here. Get these last few pieces so they don't burn. Okay. There we go. So we have our bacon there, and I'm going to pull a bit of this off, just so we're not using, just so I can kind of control how much I'm going to use. I have this wonderful little like condiment cup that you see at like some of the fancier restaurants that don't want to leave the bottles out on the table. Since it's metal, I'm going to use that instead of anything else. I'm going to reserve, I would call that a tablespoon, and all the brown bits are going to be in there too. So it's going to get that flavor from those as well. Now, be careful because the metal will conduct the heat and be super, super hot. And we don't want to burn our little fingies. So just going to take that and wipe up whatever grease was spilled. I'm going to just take this off the heat and turn it down. This is smoking a little, and I don't really want that for this. What's next? I'm going to do some spices in the heat, in the oil. So I'm going to take some of our chili flakes and just a wee bit of the cayenne and the garlic powder. You can totally use regular garlic if you want. I just want this to be a really quick and easy meal. So I'm going to do some garlic and kind of move this around and really let those flavors open up in the oil. Oh, this smells already delicious. So I'm going to add our heavy whipping cream. What was it? Saturday morning, before I went into the One Act Productions, I wanted to make some coffee, and I had some half and half left over. And I guess I didn't put the cap on immediately and well enough because I shook it like I just did, and it immediately just flew everywhere. I'm going to turn this down even more, and we're going to just move this around, really picking up the fond at the bottom of the pan that we have. And we're going to let this now reduce into a wonderful sauce. I can kind of tell this pasta isn't done yet. Yeah, it's real thick. So I'm going to let that go a little bit longer. And I'm going to put in some of our Parmesan cheese. Green can is fine. If you want to use and really step this up, you can use the fresh stuff and just grate it right over. We're going to go in with a reckless amount. I know it's kind of white on white, so you can't really see it. But trust me, there's a lot, and there's a good amount in here because we're just adding flavor to this. So this is going to reduce, and the water is going to bubble and steam out. And we'll be left with a really nice sauce. You can see the pepper flakes that are in there already. And then once our pasta is done, we're going to drain it. And then once this is reduced, we're going to add our chicken or our bacon or our pasta back in. And that'll be it. It'll be a really quick and easy meal. And a fun little episode of Legally Not, but kind of chopped. I wouldn't call this chopped. I didn't randomly get these ingredients given to me. Oh yeah, see, you can already see it's starting to thicken up. It's going to reduce more and more until we get like a really rich and creamy sauce, which is kind of what we're going for. And then the bacon, really crunchy. It's going to add a lot of flavor when we add this back in, both to the sauce and then kind of as our topping. I'm going to call that pasta done because I don't want it to be al dente yet because we're going to add it and kind of cook into the sauce, cook it in the sauce for its final moments. I'm just draining off the pasta into the sink. Okay, there we go. This is also going to add to the sauce the starch from the pasta, and a little bit of the pasta water that kind of remains in here is really going to thicken up the sauce. You can kind of hear that it's still a little far from al dente, so we're just going to add this in and let it soak up the sauce and let it reduce even more. It's still a little thin for my taste. I really want it to be nice and thick and rich and luscious. For those of you watching, there's going to be no episode of Kitchen Time this week, which would be April 28th, I believe. There won't be an episode then because I will be in the throes of tech rehearsal. So, yeah, the 28th. So there won't be an episode of Kitchen Time on Wednesday. Unless I could bring a hot plate into the backstage area with me. Okay. You can see it's really thickening up now, and our pasta is kind of going to finish cooking in this nice Alfredo sauce that we've built. I believe this is Alfredo sauce. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a cream sauce. But I believe this is technically Alfredo. I'm going to stand right here so you guys can't see my trash can that I have. Usually for streams, I put it right underneath my tech setup. But I didn't realize it was 7:50. That's why the stream started a little bit late, because I was kind of rushing to set this up towards the end. So we're going to turn it up a little bit more. And, yeah. I'm going to add some of the bacon back in as a kind of final bit. I'm going to reserve that for the final plate and kind of as a topping. I was going to call it a decoration. There we go. And then I'm also going to add this chicken so it can be warmed through. Oh, that looks absolutely, I mean, it looks a little bland. However, I'm sure it's going to taste delicious. Let me give the sauce a taste now to kind of correct its seasoning if I have to. I'm just going to stab a noodle here. Make sure it's not hot so I'm not burning my mouth off. Really, really good. You kind of only get the heat in the back end, which I really enjoy. I'm always worried with spices like this that just going to be heat from the tip of the tongue to the back of the tongue. But this kind of just lingers in the back. So you get like the salty fattiness of the bacon and the richness from the cream. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. I'm gonna grab a bowl. I'm gonna grab a very nice bowl. I have a set of multicolor bowls that are made from bamboo, but I also have these nice plain white bowls that I'm gonna use for plating, and so I can take a picture and post it on Instagram so it looks really nice. So we're gonna plate over at Vegetation Station, Hey, welcome back. So, I'm going to try to be very careful about this and plate it nicely. So, I'm going to take this and really plate it up pretty like. Once I'm done plating this, I am just going to stack the bowl until it doesn't fit anymore. If you want to be really fancy about this, I would suggest adding pancetta, which is a nice Italian style of bacon. Hold on, let me grab our bacon, put it right in the middle there. Beautiful, gorgeous. Here, let me bring it in close to the camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. Beautiful. Let me take a photo of this real quick, and then I will taste it, and then that'll be the end of the episode. Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second. I just want to take a photo over in this lighting as well. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna switch you guys back to face cam for a second so we can do our final taste. Hi. Okay. This is the same bowl as I just plated, so we're gonna stab some chicken and some pasta and some bacon. Really, really good. The pasta just reached al dente. So this is absolutely amazing. I kind of tried to preserve some of the crunchier bits of bacon in the draining apparatus that I had. So if you get a piece, you really get the crunch against all like the chicken and the pasta, which is kind of a little mushy. This is absolutely amazing. I think this is the shortest stream we've ever had, but this just means I'd be excellent on Chopped or Cutthroat Kitchen, whichever one of those. So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know when the next episode will be, but I will update the schedule as to when that'll be happening. So thank you guys so much.